How sweet the sound.
It comes far too late, but AJ Freund is finally loved.
AJ, please come home. We love you very much.
Missing for nearly a week, the search for AJ ends here in this rural field. His parents in jail accused of dumping the 5-year-old's body in a shallow grave.
We know you're at peace playing in heaven's playground and are happy you no longer have to suffer.
After a week of searching, the worst possible news. 5-year-old AJ Freund has been found dead. Police say his very own parents, the ones who are supposed to keep him safe and love him, are the killers.
Once presented with the evidence obtained by investigators, both Joanne and Andrew Sr. provided information that ultimately led to the recovery, what we believe is the recovery of deceased subject AJ. Investigators located what they believe to be AJ's body, buried in a shallow grave wrapped in plastic in a remote area of Woodstock, Illinois.
We've just obtained sketches of the parents from inside their court appearance today. Cameras were not allowed. CNN correspondent Ryan Young was inside the courtroom. He's on the story for us in Woodstock, Illinois, the town where little AJ's body was found.
But when you talk about court, I've sat in many courtrooms in my entire life, and I don't think we've heard details like this before. When you think about the fact that the prosecution said today they believe that AJ was put in a shower, a cold shower, left there for quite some time, and then hit with an object. They're still not even sure what the cause of death is. Obviously, the medical examiner has to go through that. But when you think about what this 5-year-old boy had to go through, possibly at the hands of his own parents, you understand that soundbite from the police chief talking about he no longer has to suffer. So when you think about this and the family and sort of like the community reacting to this, you understand just how this is pulling at a lot of people. Think about 15 police agencies working around the clock to try to find this young man, and knowing that maybe the parents knew all along where this young man was. In fact, they used their cell phone technology and information from the parents to go out to a location and find a shallow grave where this young boy was wrapped in plastic, left in that shallow grave. And yesterday, we definitely saw a mattress, a shovel, and some other bags of evidence coming out of that house. When you put all these details together, it is just shocking, because you obviously understand there were so many people in this community who just wanted this to end so differently.
All right, Ryan Young there. Devastating details. Thank you so much. Joining me now to look at the investigation from here on out from a forensic standpoint, Joseph Scott Morgan. He's a certified death investigator and professor of forensics at Jacksonville State University. Thank you for joining us, sir. It's sort of hard to process some of those details that we heard in Ryan's report. The fact that AJ was put in a cold shower for an extended period of time. At one point, he was struck at least once. Can you sort of explain to me from a forensic standpoint what investigators are looking at right now as the autopsy takes place?
Yeah, Elizabeth, I think one of the things that we have to consider here is the sequencing of this. If they're referring to the fact that he was placed into this cold shower in life prior to death, if he was placed in that cold shower prior to death, my thought is immediately a cold shower, I'm thinking that they're torturing this kid. Now, if this was done post-mortem after death, maybe they were attempting to slow down post-mortem change or just try to make a decision as to what they're going to do with his body. More details will come out relative to the object and modality relative to the striking of the head, and I'll be very curious to see this.
It took about a week, right? We were talking about it almost a week to the day. So not only was his little body wrapped in plastic in a shallow grave, it had been about a week. So what do forensic investigators have to work with after this timeline, this time lapse that has taken place?
Well, one of the things they're going to be looking at, Elizabeth, is pairing up this digital information they have relative to phones and the time that these individuals may have gone out to the scene compared with the rate of decomposition of the body. This is what we refer to as postmortem change, and this gives us an idea as to how long after death they began to manipulate the body, move the body around from place to place, how they went about doing this. I also have to point out, and this is a very interesting kind of point to consider, is the fact that his body was cocooned. It was wrapped in plastic. This is not something that you normally see, let's say, for instance, in the case of a predator, where they would just, take some random child, kill them, and then toss them away. This shows that there's some kind of intimacy involved here. They've wrapped the body, they've cared for the body post-mortem, dug a shallow grave, and placed him in it.
It's still so hard to process, isn't it? We're talking not about a body, we're talking about what was a human, a 5-year-old little boy with a future and a life. Joseph Scott Morgan, thank you. What a story.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.